The morning sun filtered through Michigan's pine trees as I drove toward my grandfather's cabin in Lakeview Pines, a place woven into my childhood with memories of fishing, hammering nails, and his gravelly voice guiding me through life's lessons. 3 weeks earlier, I'd inherited the cabin after his sudden death, a bittersweet gift tied to a will that forbade selling it for a decade. I'd quit my tech job to chase a startup dream, and the restriction stunt cash was tight. But as the scent of cedar filled my car, nostalgia softened the edges. I rounded the final bend, expecting the cabin's familiar outline. Instead, my tires screeched on gravel as I slammed the brakes. Where my grandfather's home had stood for 40 years was a pile of splintered wood, crushed furniture, and a yellow bulldozer idling like a predator. My chest tightened, breath caught in my throat. This couldn't be real. I stumbled from my car, legs shaky, toward the wreckage. The operator, a grizzled man named Carl, barely looked up from his phone. "You the owner?" he grunted, scratching his beard. When I nodded, dazed, he pointed to a notice nailed to a tree, Lakeview Pines HOA structure deemed unsafe. Signed by Margaret Voss, HOA president, dated yesterday. No warning, no appeal. My grandfather, a meticulous carpenter, would have never let his cabin decay. Rage replaced shock. "Who authorized this?" I demanded. Carl shrugged. "Got verbal confirmation from an engineer. Mrs. Voss said it had to go. Prime lakefront spot for a new marina lounge." He smirked, returning to his screen. I sank into the debris, hands trembling as I salvaged a cracked photo frame, a shattered chess set, and, miraculously, a silver ashtray etched with my grandparents' initials, a relic of their love. Tears burned as I clutched it, the only piece of my inheritance left intact. I stormed to the HOA's colonial-style office, where a receptionist dismissed me. "Mrs. Voss is in a meeting. Next HOA session's in 2 weeks. Security loomed as my voice rose. Defeated, I retreated to my car, knuckles white on the steering wheel. An older man, George Miller, approached in the parking lot, his silver hair catching the light. "Run in with Hurricane Margaret?" he asked, shaking my hand. A board member, he'd helped my grandfather repair the cabin's roof decades ago. "It was solid," he said, glancing nervously at the office. "Margaret runs this place like her fiefdom secret votes, rule changes. I should have fought her sooner." Before I could respond, a woman, Claire Evans, bumped into me, slipping a note into my hand. "Call me. You need to know something." She vanished into the crowd. Driving back to my hotel, I spotted Margaret at an upscale restaurant, laughing with Carl over champagne. My phone buzzed an invoice from Lakeview Pines HOA for $15,000 for hazardous structure removal. Signed by Margaret. I snapped a photo of her celebration, muttering, "So it's a conspiracy." Claire, the HOA's financial controller, met me at a diner, shredding napkins nervously. "Margaret's been siphoning funds for years," she whispered, sliding a folder across the table. It held a brochure for a marina expansion slated for my cabin's exact spot. "Your grandfather refused to sell 5 years ago. When you inherited," she pounced. Bank transfers showed $50,000 funneled to Carl's shell company, Coastal Ventures. Claire admitted Margaret coerced her with promotion promises, then threats when she refused to cook the books. She schedules votes when workers can't attend, packs meetings with her cronies, Claire said, revealing falsified minutes erasing homeowner objections. I called my college friend, Emily Carter, a real estate attorney. In her office, she dissected the documents. "Margaret falsified inspection records. No engineer deemed your cabin unsafe. The $15,000 bills inflated. Standard demolitions $4,000 max." She pulled up Lakeview's bylaws. Major projects needed 75% homeowner approval, which Margaret never sought. "She's betting you can't afford a legal fight," Emily warned. George called, revealing Margaret targeted my grandfather after he rallied residents against her marina 5 years ago. "She warned him he'd regret it," he said. My blood ran cold when an email erased a screenshot of Margaret plotting to lien my property, proof they were hacking my inbox. At the grocery store, I confronted her, waving the invoice. She smirked, inspecting cheeses. "Your cabin was an eyesore. Pay, or we'll lien your land." Her casual cruelty nearly broke me. "I've run this community for 8 years, she hissed, brushing past. "One cabin won't stop progress." Residents whispered support but feared her wrath. An elderly woman shared how Margaret fined her $200 daily for bird feeders until she complied. At the cabin's ruins, I sifted through splinters, clutching the ashtray as Emily called. Margaret never filed the marina plans with the county estate violation. Another email arrived, a photo of my cabin's interior pre-demolition, with a message. You're not the first she's crushed, but you could be the last. Determination surged. Emily, Claire, and I strategized in my hotel, joined by George via encrypted chat. Michigan's one-party consent law let me record Margaret covertly. At the HOA meeting, time to exclude workers, Margaret breezed through my cabin's demolition as a safety measure. I stood, voice steady. You bulldozed my property without notice or inspection. She sighed, painting me as a troublemaker, promising a private meeting that never came. Residents shared stories after were fines, denied ramps, coerced donations to Margaret's beautification fund. I found a video of my grandfather teaching me carpentry at 13, his voice warm. This place is yours someday, Sam. Take care of it. Tears fell as I vowed to fight. Emily uncovered Margaret's post-inheritance rule change, allowing emergency demolitions by any qualified professional vague enough to exploit. Claire revealed Margaret rushed marina construction to avoid refunding $25,000 deposits. Residents backed away from my petition, intimidated by Margaret's threats. Frustrated, I pushed Emily to go public, but she cautioned, she'll sue for defamation. We need airtight evidence. A certified letter from Margaret's lawyer accused me of disruption. An unmarked car trailed me. My bank warned of a lien attempt. I nearly sold the land, exhausted. Then, a breakthrough. Emily found Margaret lacked 75% approval for the marina, a bylaw violation. Claire exposed Carl's double-charged contracts. George confirmed their affair a conflict of interest. A misdirected email from Margaret to Claire detailed kickback splits. Margaret's desperation grew. She announced the marina's groundbreaking, falsely claiming permits. Construction began on my land. At her investor gala, I crashed, declaring, "You're selling my property illegally." Murmurs spread. Investors wavered. A venture capitalist pulled his $300,000 pledge after I shared evidence. Emily found the demolition lacked permits, clear property destruction. Claire uncovered $50,000 diverted to Carl's shell company. Margaret called an emergency meeting to foreclose my land, but Emily countered legally. Carl called, whispering, "Margaret's gone too far. I'll talk, but she has cops in her pocket." The line cut off. Journalist Rachel Brooks met me, revealing Margaret's past scams under different names. "She's a predator," Rachel said, lacking a paper trail until now. Former victims shared tales of her engineered turnovers. George connected us to ex-board members with original bylaws, exposing Margaret's gradual takeover. We submitted a 3-inch binder to the Michigan Financial Oversight Commission. Margaret's laundered funds and falsified records, Emily stated. The investigator promised an asset freeze within 48 hours. Margaret appeared at my hotel, offering a check to settle, enough to erase my debts. Tempted, I heard my grandfather's voice. "Take care of it." I refused, revealing the freeze. Her facade cracked. "What have you done?" she gasped, phone buzzing with Carl's betrayal. At the emergency HOA meeting, Claire exposed Margaret's dual books, projecting bank transfers. Residents erupted, demanding answers. Margaret snapped, admitting the cabin's demolition was for the marina's viewer-recorded confession. Carl entered with police, admitting their scheme. The investigator revealed $200,000 diverted over 5 years, driven by Margaret's debts. Her credit cards failed at a restaurant, her meltdown viral by morning. As Margaret was escorted out, I sat among the cabin's ruins, the ashtray heavy in my hand. Victory felt hollow without the cabin. George texted about a special meeting to plan my land's future. Residents elected a new board, adopting transparent bylaws. I proposed a community garden and pavilion honoring my grandfather, using salvaged wood and insurance funds from the wrongful demolition. The community rallied landscapers, carpenters, families. A plaque read, "In memory of what HOA's bulldozed." Margaret faced embezzlement charges. Carl got probation. I stayed in Lakeview, advocating for HOA reform. At the garden's opening, the ashtray sat on a shelf, a quiet tribute. An email from prison arrived. "I'm out in 5 years. Enjoy your cabin." A chill hit me, but the pavilion's lights warmed the night. From ruins, we built something strong, a community that fought back. My grandfather would have smiled.